Okay.
Good morning, Camp Widow.
It's okay in there? Okay.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Okay, welcome to Camp Widow. I'm Terry Marvin, and Michelle Neff Hernandez texted me this morning and said, I want you to introduce me. I'm like, okay, thank you for the warning, but if you know Michelle, you don't say no to this woman, so here I am. I've known Michelle Neff Hernandez for about 3 years now, and she is quite inspirational, and there are a whole lot of other adjectives I could use to describe her, but if you've spoken with her, I'm sure you all have your own way of describing this incredible woman. She is, I like to say she's an energizer bunny. There's no stopping her. And once she gets something in her mind and in her head, it's like full steam, full force ahead. This is just how she is. And this is how we ended up here today for the second year, for the second annual conference and workshop. As you know, or if you don't know, Michelle lost her husband in 2005. And it was at that point that her journey began. It was out of that tragedy that she took on this mission of reaching out to other widows and not only helping them, but asking for help from them. She became a widow at an early age. She didn't know what to do. There was no guidebook or no directions on how you were supposed to act or anything. So she sort of researched it. That's just Michelle. And that led to so many wonderful things. From that, she launched a website called Widow's Bond. Out of Widow's Bond, she launched the Widow's Match program in 2007, which has about 2,000 matches at this point. And some of you are here today. Wave your hand. Pretty cool. And I believe you met for the first time at the airport, if I'm not mistaken. So she did that. That wasn't enough. In 2008, she decided to launch a foundation called Soaring Spirits Lost Foundation. She said, I have this idea. I'm going to launch this foundation. I said, okay. Then from that, she said, I have this idea. I'm going to host a conference. Okay. And 2 years later, here she is, hosting her second annual conference, Camp Widow. Michelle, as I said, is an incredible woman. She's the mother of 3 children, 3 wonderful children. And if you don't know this, she's newly engaged. Here's another funny story about Michelle. Okay, she decides to go on eHarmony to find a mate. There are all of these guys here in the U.S. that she probably could have chosen. Did she? No. She decided to go halfway across the world and hook up with this Australian mate. If you haven't met him, his name is Michael Dare. He's standing over there in the corner. I'll put him on the spot. But anyway, they're newly engaged and nuptials are right around the corner. She's happy as can be, and we're all very happy for her. So without any further delay, Michelle, come on up here. Michelle Neff Hernandez.
Now you know why I picked her, because she's fabulous. If people say nice things like that about you, you should text them every morning and say, hi, could you introduce me? I'm doing a keynote address. And I literally thought to myself in the middle of the night when I wasn't asleep, I don't think I asked anybody to introduce me. I wonder if that's a problem. I know, I'll text Terry. First of all, let me welcome you officially to Camp Widow 2010 and say to you what an honor it is for us for you to be sitting in those chairs. Because we don't take for granted what it takes for you to get here. We don't take for granted what it takes for you to get on a plane and travel far from your home, to leave your children, who many of them have you as their only parent. We don't take that for granted. We appreciate your willingness to come. We appreciate your willingness to be a part of what this experience is, and for you to allow us to be here for the second time, because it is absolutely, I can't even begin to tell you how many times over, our pleasure to have you. Absolutely our pleasure to have you. I'm sorry if I create waves. I'm a talker with my hands. And so if you hear this bum, 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 it's not my heart. I promise you. It's me patting myself on the chest. Sorry. I want you to go, if you would, with me on a tiny journey right now in your brain. I'm not going to say close your eyes. I won't ask you to stand up and do circles or anything like that. But what I want you to imagine is whatever your experience of rock climbing is. I know you're all rock climbers, right? Do we have any rock climbers out here? Yes. Okay, so you could even go to like those inspirational calendars, you know, the ones that have the rock climbing, they do all those poses, and you're like, how in the world is that possible? I want you to go there. I want you to go to a rock climbing place. And this is why. I was having this idea the other day about what is the purpose of Camp Widow? Why are we here, and what can we do? What can we do together? And not a lot of people will say to you as a widowed person, what can you do for me? But I'm going to say it. What can you do for me? And I'm going to tell you the answer too. So you don't even have to answer the question, which is really nice to me, I think. But let's go back to that journey. In 2005, I feel like I was walking along the edge of a very lovely canyon, and my life was just as I wanted it to be. And I just was walking along in this very beautiful path, thinking to myself, this is really good. I like this. I tripped over a rock and I fell in the canyon. And I fell so far, and I kept thinking, where am I going to land? This doesn't feel like it ends. Where does it end? And then I hit rock bottom. And at the bottom, I was stunned to be, and I think maybe you can all go with me on that journey. You fell down a pit at some point, and you landed. And it was like, oh my gosh, my bones aren't broken? Like, I seriously can't believe I survived this fall. This is crazy. How could I still be alive? How come everything still works? What is that sun doing up there? Because it should not be shining right now, that's for sure. And so then I stood up and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the way out. The way out is straight up a rock. And I don't see any way to climb it. How am I supposed to climb out of this pit? And I remember so clearly thinking, I can't get out. I don't have any way out. And I'll tell you how I discovered the way out. I looked up a little farther and I saw somebody else on the rock. And I thought, that person found a way to get from here to 10 feet above me. And as I looked up even further, I saw there was another person and another person and another person, and they were not in any order. And they didn't appear to be following each other in any way, really. It's just that they were proof that I could actually get up on the wall. If they could get on the wall, there must be a place. So then you just start to look. And you look and see, wait, there's a little foothold right here. If I step right here, then I'm 2 inches off the ground. 2 inches off the ground was way better than being flat on my face on the floor. And then each step forward was a reach with this arm. And okay, so I'm going to give you a rock climbing demonstration. It's not like climb right here. You got to do this. And you got to stretch. And sometimes you are like sprawled out thinking, I am going to fall off this wall. There is absolutely no way I can hold on. I cannot hold on any longer. And every time I thought I couldn't hold on any longer, not one more minute, I saw somebody else. And I thought, there they are. They're still there. If they're still there, then there's an opportunity for me to still be here. And that rock journey continued all the way up this huge wall. Sometimes I took rests. Sometimes I fell back down a little ways. When I fell back down, I couldn't necessarily figure out how was I going to get back up. And what do you mean I went down? Up. That's where we want to go. Up. It's a straight up journey, right? Not when you're rock climbing. When you're rock climbing, sometimes you have to go to the side. Sometimes the foothold that you find is not going to be above you. It might be beneath you. You might actually have to step down in order to step up. And that idea of the concept of how do I do this? Where can I go from here? Really led to the thinking of, what did I need? In my widowhood, what did I need? And I want to say, when I use the word widowhood, I mean anybody who has lost a partner. Anybody who has lost the person they thought they were going to spend the rest of their life with. So that's men, that's women, that is anyone who has been in a relationship and said, you are the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Yay for me. Yay for me. And then you all of a sudden go, wait a minute. How did I get down to the bottom of this hill? I was way up here, yay for me, and now I'm way down there. No longer yay for me. This is not the place I wanted to be. But what made a difference was knowing that other people had done this. And so, when I met other widowed people, I could say to them, I'm so stuck right here. And it didn't matter. Even if we were stuck together, we could be stuck side by side. And I could say, this is really horrible. And they could say, yeah, it is. But it didn't matter. I wasn't looking for a solution from my climbing partner. I was looking for the inspiration to continue climbing. And I could say to you, if you can hold on a little longer, I think I can hold on a little longer. And if we can both hold on a little longer, maybe we can climb a little bit more tomorrow. And that journey has really led to the concept of, what do you have to create as widowed people? How can we make a community where somebody loses their spouse and doesn't say, there's no help for me? I don't know where to find help. And you know, the only way we can do that is if we stand up. If we say, I'm a widowed person and I'm willing to help you. I'm a widowed person and I climbed that wall. And guess what? I became a foothold for you. And so the way I've been thinking about this is that every time you make an effort to reach out to somebody else who's widowed, you become a foothold, a handhold, a crevice. I know you don't want to be a crevice maybe, but I think it's a good idea. You become the reason people can still hang on. And guess what? You don't have to be a successful rock climber. You can just be a regular old rock climber. You can even be a failure as a rock climber. You can fall off, you can get back on, you can fall off, it doesn't matter. The idea is that you're still willing to try, that you're still reaching up, that you're still trying to find a way to get to the top of the canyon where you used to be skipping along happily like a little rabbit. I was a rabbit. You don't have to be a rabbit if you don't want. But what I've thought about too is the idea that when you look at a rock climb, sometimes there are like no obvious handholds or footholds. Nothing stands out to you. It's not until you start really investigating and looking that you find where you can hold on. How awesome would it be if the handholds and the footholds were more obvious? What would it be like if you were in an indoor rock climbing gym where you can see all the footholds? And they're bigger. It doesn't necessarily mean it's easier, but they're easier to find. And that's what all of the organizations that are represented here today do. We become handholds. We become footholds. We become places where you can rest. If you need a rest, you can just hang out right here. We can hang out. This is good. And then we can move forward. And sometimes that means stepping down. Again, you don't have to be a successful rock climber. You just have to be willing to put in the effort to rock climb. And not just that, but to be a foothold or a handhold. So remember I said, what were you going to do? I was going to answer the question for you. I need you. I need you to be footholds and handholds. Now, does that mean you have to be a successful rock climber? Again, we'll go back. No, it does not. Does that mean that you have to hold the weight of widowhood on your one little foothold or handhold? Absolutely not. But what it means is that every small effort, every single thing is a step up for the person beside you, is an extra boost. And how many of you have recognized, just in last night, let me just tell you how beautiful you all were last night. It was awesome to hear the din. Okay, I want to tell you for sure that when you I know some of you somebody said to you, what are you doing this weekend? And you said, oh, I'm going to Camp Widow. And they said, oh, that sounds like fun. I definitely want to go to Camp Widow. So last night was not what they would have expected, right? Because what we're doing is we're laughing at each other and with each other. We are holding each other. We are hugging each other. We are meeting in person. We are allowing tears. We are allowing wherever you want to be is good here. It doesn't matter because we don't have to be successful rock climbers. All we have to do is be willing to put in the effort to take that next tiny little step. And I know sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you want to get down off that stupid wall and lay down on the ground and just stay there. And then you can do that too, like I said. We take you as you are, whatever that is. But I guarantee you that when you look up, if you see somebody else on the wall, it's going to mean something to you. And so we are all in different places on the wall. And if any of you have already gotten all the way out and you're looking down, would you please put your hand over the edge and pull somebody else up?